Welcome back, everybody. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Aaron.
This is our show, Crypto Cosm, where I talk about the astrology and how that affects the crypto world.
And I bring you that worldly crypto news.
And in the middle of consensus going on right now, the big Uranus push into Taurus and the new moon yesterday, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh my gosh.
Take it away, Aaron.
So, you know, it was difficult. I've been reading articles, I've been watching it live, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was difficult. It was almost...
It's a snooze fest.
How do they stay awake there? I mean, if I wasn't doing my normal 9-to-5 job while I was watching everything, I probably would have been... It was just like, man, these guys got worse jokes than I do. And that's saying something.
He's a dad.
But I made it through. I made it through. And we've been talking about stuff since January. We've been talking about the 15th of this month. For how many months now? 4, 5?
4 months with you guys. We've been talking about it for a long time before that. But
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna save it for the end. We got a few other things to talk about coming up here.
Full circle. It's coming to fruition.
I just can't. I couldn't believe my eyes. So I think we'll start out with the smallest. HTC
phone company. Yep.
Has released the first blockchain cell phone. Now there's a couple other companies, but they were the first to the market. So they've patented the chip that goes inside that stores your private keys, just as a little extra lockup for your digital monies.
Which is awesome. I mean, we've seen, you know, the fingerprint and the iris scanner technology, and these are just ways to make sure that you're protected.
New hardware storage. I mean, everybody's getting ready for it. I think everybody at the conference, well, there was a few individuals that like, oh, Bitcoin's going to fail in 5 years. You know what? Sit down. Like, who let you come up on the stage? Just get off. But, I mean, there was a lot of positivity about the blockchain, about cryptocurrency, even from the CFC. Even from the CFC.
And that's huge. That is huge. That's what we've needed. We need as much... we need everybody on board. You know, there's only one way to get over this, and we have to all be on the same page and move forward with it. In summer, it's going to be like tug of war, where we're really pulling. Come on, what are you doing?
I was surprised. I mean, the blanket consensus for consensus. I made it. See, there's my jokes.
Dad jokes.
But from the CFC was, we don't want to impede progress on the technology. We want it to grow. We want it to flourish. We want it to do good things. And it was just like, huh? Well, all right. And it was mentioned repeatedly throughout the conference.
So that's giving the green light, saying move forward with this. Move forward. We're not going to put up the roadblocks right now. We want you to succeed.
Moving up to the next step, we have Nasdeq releasing a new exchange in June of 2018, this year. And I gotta admit, it looks pretty fly. Like, even the music was like getting you ready to rock.
It's only a few weeks away.
We're on the intro video, and it looks slick. And I'm a huge fan of the nighttime themes that they have going on. And anything with a nighttime theme, I just think looks pretty. But that wasn't the only thing that I liked about it. It's going to be run by European officials, and it looks amazing. So I'm gonna be, you know, sticking my toes in the water when that one comes out. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a preview here and there when it actually does. And I'm looking forward to having the Nasdaq name now in cryptocurrency.
Right, part of the blockchain and
affiliated. It's merging. It's becoming acceptable. It's becoming a thing. People are recognizing it. Companies are recognizing it. And
our pond is turned into, you know, a bigger lake. And eventually it's going to be the ocean.
It's going to be awesome. What do we have next? Coinbase. Speaking of getting more acceptable. So Coinbase's new thing that they are releasing is Coinbase Custody. Coinbase Custody. So this feature on Coinbase is going to be built specifically for the whales. So if you don't have $10 million, you're out of luck. But
if you do,
they're offering the most safe and secure crypto storage and investment on the web.
And if you do, also, we have a link below. You can send some of that our way because you love us so much. And another fun thing about Coinbase is, so we just talked about this last week, they upped the weekly which was once 10,000 if you have your 3-level, security. It was it was 10,000, then they upped it to $25,000 weekly. Now they did it again to 25,000 per day.
Per day?
Per day. So if you have your 3-step security
authentication,
all of that, all of those letters together in one word, then you can and repeat the buy for 25K every single day.
That's awesome.
It just keeps getting better and better.
I'm almost there.
Ooh.
Maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
But, and then, okay, so this is the news that
we've been waiting for. This is what we've been talking about.
Waiting for.
Why May 15th? What is the big news that comes out on May 15th?
So we started off back in I think it was January, if not the beginning of February. Actually, I think it was the very beginning of February.
Our 10th episode.
Our 10th episode. If you guys haven't watched it, go back and check it out and then come back here because we've been talking about this for months.
And it was the January 1988 magazine cover of The Economist. And it showed the phoenix rising from the ashes with the money underneath it, wearing the coin, that the 1, the 0, 2018 with the slash through it. Now we broke down the astrology of what's behind that. What does that symbol mean? Why back in 1988 did they prophesize 2018 being this one world currency?
30 years later.
30 years later. And with everything we've been talking about with you on the show here has been leading up to yesterday, the 15th, okay? Or whichever day this comes out, we'll see. But nonetheless, the 15th, and why they knew what was gonna come now. And that was a huge aspect. So getting into it, what do we have?
Circle.
Circle.
Circle. Circle had raised $110 million for this project, backed by Bitmain, which is China's biggest mining company, which really owns like 30% of the hash power and voting power in Bitcoin itself.
It's huge.
The biggest miners
big numbers
backing this project are coming out with the USD-C coin, which is a stable coin backed by government-issued money. Now, everybody's heard of Tether, and we've talked about Tether and the issues with Tether and the auditing problems with Tether, and is it going to go down? Is it going to hurt crypto? Is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? It's got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Right.
But this is going to be 10 times bigger than
10,
Tether,
10.
or possibly more. So this is actually going to be built on the ERC20 chain,
which is awesome.
And is also going to allow for multiple stable coins in different geographic locations.
Now let's talk about that for a quick second. When we say stable coin, this is what every person that I talk to about crypto, and they're like, it's too unstable. It's not, the validity of the market is too ups and downs, the ebbs and flows are too much. And I say, well, yeah, but we have a dollar that's 100 pennies and the whole world is inflating around it, but the dollar stays the same, but the dollar's stable, and that makes them comfortable because
but your
they
loaf
know.
Of bread is $10 next thing.
Right. Gas goes up, milk goes up, the bread goes up, rent goes up, but the dollar stays the same. So when we're talking about a stable coin, that's exactly what this is. It stays the same. There is no changing it. And let's flash the symbol for a quick second here. Right, now that's the symbol that the Economist had over, the 0 through the slash through it. What is this called again? This is the
theta symbol. With the 0 with the slash through it. And we spoke about it last time in the previous episode also, and it's widely used on checks and things like that so that the number cannot be changed.
The number cannot be changed, right. So you can't make a 0 into an A to get more money. It's used on checks. It's used in a lot of places to signify that this is what it is, and it's
not changing.
Stable.
Stable coin. Backed by US dollars, backed by government-issued currency.
Now let's look at these two symbols side by side here. Okay, here's again the picture of the Economist and this phoenix wearing the coin. And now look at Circle's their logo. Do we not see this beautiful kind of resemblance in these? It's kind of magical. It just sticks right out to both of us. Maybe to you too, or maybe we're just seeing.
I could not believe my eyes. I was like, well, Coincidence? I don't believe in
so.
coincidence anymore. I'm kind of past that point in my life. But, I mean, this was the first article that jumped out at me and the first project that jumped out at me. I mean, if you guys want to Google it, just Google Bitcoin unicorn. It should pop right up right there at the top of Google. You guys can read there. We'll also put the description down in the link for you guys. But the resemblance was just fascinating. And multiple currencies, multiple stable coins in different geographic locations. Well, now, why would you need that?
Right, why not just one to rule them all?
Do we see some sort of transitioning happening here? That now we're going to have an outlet that any geographical location can have their own stable coin issued on the blockchain.
Now let's dive a little bit deeper into that. So $1, one coin, right? So when this is stable, if we dump all of this money in to this coin, or if we pull all out of Bitcoin into this coin, how does this work with the US dollar? How does this work if what if the US dollar tanks? Does our stable coin stay stable?
Well, if the US dollar isn't worth anything, and the coin is built on top of the dollar in a 1-to-1 ratio, the trouble I have is you're building a stable coin on an unstable foundation. And it's really something to think about. Now, we can tell in the crypto world, because it's the opposite, it's an inflationary currency, not a deflationary currency. So we see how much the price is and how it goes up and it goes down. Likewise, in the opposite, you know, we see how gas prices and milk prices rise and the cost of a loaf of bread. So, you know, we don't see it in the dollar per se. We see it in the things around us. The opposite of that, we have crypto, we see it in the dollar, but everything else, I mean, is relevant to the regular price. So what does happen if something happens to that US dollar backed? What could go wrong? I don't know. I mean, the possibility, let us know what you think. Leave a comment. This is
big. This is big stuff because that's what everybody wants, stability in this world. You know, stability is not going to get you to the moon. Stability is not getting your Lambo. You know, so there's two sides of this here. You know, it's like, do we need to transition into this digital thing? Do we need to get away from the Federal Reserve? Do we need to get away from this paper dollar that is ridiculous? You know, in your George Costanza wallets, it probably has more business cards than money in it.
We sit like this.
Right. You know, so it's like getting away from this dollar. Now Sweden's got this little chip. Have you seen that? Little chip goes in your hand. It's your car key.
Government officials now do too. I mean, it's more prevalent.
Yeah, you know. So I mean, this could be the new currency as well. This is could be your bank account, your everything. You know, I mean, that's
barcode on your forehead.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. But so not to drift too far, but you know, this is what we've been hoping for. But at the same time, is this transitioning into one thing? Is it like kind of what we talk about Ripple? Like, well, if the Ripple just decides to print more coins or pull all out, then everybody that invested in this thinking this is a good idea gets hosed big time.
60%. They could pull out 60% of the money at any time because they hold 60% of the coins.
And now, in my view, is just simply as an astrologer, again, when I look at the cycles, what's coming in January of 2020 is a crash, okay? It is a crash. It is a crash and a new beginning in a new currency. That is what, to me, the Pluto and Saturn conjunction in January of 2020 is going to be.
We all know what Saturn does.
Right, it's a malefic planet. It is malefic. It is the king of karma. You know, you kick the dog's gonna bite you back. And I hope you don't kick dogs, and I hope you just love them. But nonetheless, you know, it's like Mars and Saturn are malefic. They're not the happy-go-lucky, you know, it's not Jupiter. It's not Venus, the planet of love and money, you know, which Uranus just moved into that yesterday, which is, you know, again, our foundation of wants and desires, love and money. So it's breakthroughs of all these things that are going to be happening, and that's, again, Earth sign, Capricorn, Earth sign. These are all happening in Earth signs, which these represent our money and the government at large happening here. It's going to be catastrophic. The events that are going to happen in January 2020, I don't want to like project negativity, you know, I mean, it's going to be, You know, the lightning striking that creates the chaos also brings the community together to rebuild that structure. You know what I mean? That's kind of what's going on. So when we see something like a stable coin come out that's backed by USD and it's a 1-for-1 ratio, it's awesome on one end, and it's going to turn a lot of heads and make people feel really comfortable.
It
People
sounds
like
great.
us, we're like, yeah, but that's not why we're invested in crypto. That's not what we see as the, I mean, I don't want to speak for Aaron, but it's, you know, there's a futuristic agenda with the crypto community and the crypto world. And that's what I'm all about. We're about, you know, the age of Aquarius. We're moving forward and we're getting rid of these
the digital
traditional
economies,
right.
the sharings, the incentives, the removings of the third parties, and the benefits going to the people, not to the big businesses.
Right. That's exactly it.
And I think it's going to give people a false sense of security because it's a stable coin. Sure, the coin might be stable, and the coin is always going to be 1-to-1, but that's not to say what it's built on top of. If you're building a house on sand, and the tide comes in and washes out the sand from underneath it, and now, I'm not saying that, oh, I don't get into that whole mark of the beast thing and any of that religious type.
And astrology is also
theology.
not religious. Yeah, it's not. It absolutely is not.
But it's just, I'm a programmer. I'm a man of logic. A plus B equals C, etc. All that jazz. But like you said, if you build a house on sand and that sand is the foundation that gets washed out from underneath, well, what's going to happen? You're going to fall into a sinkhole.
Right.
So stable coin, yeah, that coin's not going to change.
But is the foundation built right?
Can absolutely change. And we're going to be looking at the coin over here to say, oh, well, this is cool, but you don't know what's going on kind of behind the scenes or under the currents.
Right.
And so that's going to be something that I'm going to be staying very, very aware of moving forward. I can't wait to see what they do and what they propose with these different geological locations, these different coins. I mean, is it going to be a different coin per government? I mean, it sounds like that capability is very, very open. And the fact that Bitmain is an interesting company as well. I mean, they're into AI, they're into cloud computing. They have the biggest stance on Bitcoin mining in the world. I mean, just Google it and just look at some of the pictures of these I mean, it's insane how much power and how much voting power they have. It's really, really interesting to see where this is going. So, what does the future hold for us? I have no idea, but it's going to be unfolding quite rapidly over the next year or two.
It's true. And speaking of future, one more little astrology fun fact is not only do we have the move, Mercury moved into Taurus, Uranus moved into Taurus. This is good. We're talking about money. We're talking about money. We're talking about the digital currency. We're talking about the breakthroughs of the digital currency. And then we'd also had just today, Mars moved into Aquarius, the sign of the future. Mars is the accelerator. It's the foot on the gas, and it's moving forward into the future, the futuristic sign of community. Now, an interesting aspect of this, Mars takes about 2 months to go through each sign, all right? And it retrogrades once every 2 years, where Mercury retrogrades 3 times a year. Venus will do it once every year and a half. And a Mars retrograde, it's going to retrograde in a couple weeks here. We're going to talk more about this in the next couple episodes. When this happened 2 years ago, in 2016, it was a huge, it drove the market through the roof. Now, it happened in a different sign, but where we are at right now, and with the gas and the accelerator in the community in the future, and then it's going back for 2 months. 2 months, it's moving backward into the sign of Capricorn again. So it's just like, well, let's go to the future. No, I don't know if we're actually ready yet. I don't know if we're ready to go there, to take it there. Let's bring it back. Let's restructuralize. Let's relook at everything. Let's make sure our foundation is built on concrete and plaster of Paris, not sand and, unstable ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another big aspect that we have to look forward to in the next few weeks here. Whether that's going to drive the market up or not, what it's going to bring is the change that's necessary for when Lambo and Moon and all this stuff to come later this year. I see really good stuff happening around October, November. That's not to say that, you know, Bitcoin won't jump to 20 grand during, who knows, you know, like I don't like to make those kind of predictions, but all I'm saying is this same aspect that happened 2 years ago really drove the market to an awesome place. And so did consensus. You know, how many weeks after consensus, you know, it's like consensus happened and then it's like everybody there and now we've doubled, you know, how many people were at consensus, and then these people are talking about it, and these people are talking about it. It's becoming more talked about. It's, you know, again, we talked about it. It's in HBO's show Silicon Valley. More and more people who know nothing about cryptocurrency, who know nothing about Bitcoin or the rest of the market, are now being exposed to this, and it's this word of mouth thing that's happening. That's going to. So how long ago was it that? Weeks or months that right after consensus, the market really shot up?
Approximately 20 to 40 days. And that we could show a picture of it right here.
And during that time, we will be in the Mars retrograde from futuristic Aquarius back into Capricorn.
And it's funny because a little bit of thing that we've talked about before, a lot of people buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, selling the news typically happens a little bit before the news is released. Let's just talk about Lisk, for example, when they went through and did their rebranding. I mean, the previous 6 weeks before, leading up to it, it was building
Great
up.
price.
2 to 3 days right before, it sold off because everybody was still jumping on and like, I got my money. I'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
And then everybody sells the news. So here we are at consensus. We have just a couple days before consensus. Now we've got a dip. Everybody's selling news. Everybody's like, oh yeah, it's going to go up. Well, everybody's projecting that it's going to go up. So people are hopping in. Meanwhile, the people that have been waiting are like, I'm taking my money. And then we get this nice little drop. So will we follow the trend of the last 3 years after consensus? We still have a few weeks to figure that out. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
It is. So we'll keep you posted, absolutely, for sure. So, and again, we're going to post, we've already posted the link before, but we're wrapping up here. So, but definitely check out episode 10 of The Economist.
Episode 10.
It's just, there's a lot of information there. We don't want to really cap over everything, but there's a lot of information there that's showing we are on track. We are absolutely on track for everything coming into fruition that we've been talking about for months, that we've been talking about for years outside of the show. You've been talking about, you want all your friends there. We're there. We're going there. We're moving forward.
Leave a comment. Do you guys believe in coincidences or not? I mean, is it a self-fulfilling prophecy to you? What do you see? Tell us what you think. Leave a comment. We want to know. Let's start some discussion. We got the Facebook group going on. If you guys haven't checked that out already, get on in on some of this confirmation. We got some great guys with some amazing posts that follow this stuff up as well. But I think it's that time.
True wisdom card of the day.
A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. Ooh. Helen Keller. God, I hope she's not driving. See, my jokes were way better than the guys at Consensus. I'll tell you what.
Next year he'll be on the panel.
Oh man, thanks for joining us here. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit that little notification button down at the bottom of the screen so you guys don't miss a beat. Thanks for joining us here on
Crypto Cosm.